Hello, hello. I wanted to take a surface look here and go over our heroic outsider, Donald Trump. Before I get into it, I want to make it very clear that I hate them all. I hate them, all of them. Politicians, billionaires, probably a bunch of millionaires. I start at the top. I'm 100% sure. I'd hate some millionaires. Um, But yeah, so I want to make it very clear they're all bad. They're none of them are good. Um, but I shouldn't even need to do this. Anyways, let's take a look at Donald Trump, the outsider, the heroic outsider on the surface. Um, this one's a fun one. The symbolism is real. I was thinking about it and I was like, I'm not. Some people, when you look into these stories, they're gonna say it's evil, 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 la la la, whatever. I could easily look at it as a secret handshake. It is a club, right? And the symbolism is a part of that club. So, a lot of stories will talk about demonic this and can understand it with the evil that happens with these people. But again, I don't care. I'm not trying to make you scared of their symbolism or whatever. It's just, it is there. It is real. It's not a coincidence. They're not doing these symbolic gestures on accident. It's deliberate. They do it all the time. All the time. That's why you can catch them all the time. They always do it. Always. The symbolism is real, and they do put it out there on the stage. Some of it's funny. Some of it, like I remember headbanging, right? Like I remember like metal and rock and people, it's satanic devil worship, we're just like rocking out and stuff, like that's kind of funny. And then the okay sign, I when I got into that, I was like, what? I'm not gonna explain that. It's whatever. It could be true what the other way they explain it. I don't care. But like I said, the symbolism is there. It's always there. They don't do these on accident. It's not an accident. All right. Well, I thought this was funny, especially with the recent stories around P Diddy and whatever. Just popping that out there. The outsider, and this is why I think it's funny, because like I've talked about it before, these people, all of them have a history together. um, the dots connect themselves. They're not enemies. Whatever, it's one big club and you ain't in it. No, not a it's not a like photo op type thing, where they just happen to accidentally randomly hang out and whatever. uh the Bible salesman, I thought that was hilarious when I saw that, because I remember when I saw the news of him selling Bibles, I was like, how does that not make it obvious to people? How does that dude selling Bibles? Not because the Bible, I don't think the Bible, it's just hilarious, dude. It's hello, con man. Hello, how do you not understand the snake? Like, come on, man. The Bible salesman. I just thought that was funny. I thought that was really funny when he was doing the Bible thing, selling the Bible. Yeah, so the outsider, definitely an outsider. The outsider that has never been a part of the club. He's not a politician. Not a politician. Could say that, sure. They're all actors. It doesn't matter. They're all actors. AOC is a phony. Her whole story of how she got started is a lie. The whole bartending thing is a lie. That was a story made up. They made that story up. Did I skip a picture here? No, it looks like, because I thought I had 3 of the Clinton ones, and I'm not seeing the third one. I think they were too similar or whatever. Anyways, Henry Kissinger, good old pal of the outsider. This was in 2018. 2018. Trump offered Bill Gates a job at the White House. Pretty funny. and I'm not going to read all these. If you want to pause it for a sec to look at all that, that's fine. This is all correct. I blocked one out myself because I was like, no, that's not true. And I'm not going to mention it. If you've seen this before, you know, whatever. But I thought that was funny. I was like, what are you talking about? That's not true at all. And then Donald Trump, the vaccine is one of the greatest achievements of mankind. All 3 vaccines are very good. The vaccines work. If you take the vaccine, you are protected. People aren't dying when they take the vaccine. I suppose could be true if they stopped transmission, stopped infection. I suppose, maybe. That's a real quote. I saw that in the video that they're quoting. Maybe the video was faked. Whatever, dude. I just thought this was a funny one. To me, just because this was in March of 2020. Just finished a very good conversation with President Z. I forget it's G, whatever, however you pronounce it, of China. Discussed in great detail the coronavirus that is ravaging large parts of our planet. China has been through much and has developed a strong understanding of the virus. We are working closely together. This was after he had spent, you know, a little while just the China virus, la la la, because we're supposed to always, as usual, hate China, hate Russia, hate everybody else, hate all the, you know, whatever, it's weird, all that nonsense. But then a few months later, we're back to, because it never stopped. He never stopped doing the China virus, which you remember the China virus, man. A few months after he said that, you know, on the same account, we are united in our effort to defeat the invisible China virus. So we're going back to hating the China virus again, right? Not working with China to stop this virus, but it's the China virus, you know. And many people say it's patriotic to wear a mask when you can't socially distance. There's nobody more patriotic than me, your favorite president. So funny. You know, the outsider. And let's go, Brandon. Every single aspect of the Biden administration is Jewish. Thought this was funny. And then we go to every single aspect of Trump's campaign funding is Jewish. This was posted by the same person. That's why they're similar, you know, like layouts or whatever. Pretty funny stuff. And I want to make another thing clear is I don't hate Jewish people. I don't. I've been down that path of like the Jews, and I'm like, even if they are like in charge of things and whatever, right? And you can see, right, these things. I'm not gonna hate Judaism or whatever. Like I don't care. I could say, to me it's as simple as like what I've done. I'll like, well, overgeneralize, oversimplify anything, and like, you know, people, well, as we're brainwashed and taught, is to hate Russia, hate China. China sucks, Russia sucks, and America sucks, you know, all this kind of stuff, whatever. It's the same thing, like that kind of generalization of hating a group of people when it's not the entire group, you know, whatever. So I could hate Jews. I don't hate Jews for being Jewish, you know, like I'll hate people that I know are doing evil. That's who I'll hate. Just funny. Oh yeah, I guess I'm in the images that get a little small here, so we'll blow this up for a few pages. I have so many tabs open, some kind of losing. I've never done this many tabs before. It's kind of tricky to navigate. Yeah, but anyways, so the whole Israel Jew thing, whatever. But it's real, right? Like as far as what's on the stage, it's real, very, very real. There's many of these, like everybody, Hollywood celebrities, politicians, all of them go to this wall and whatever. It's interesting, kind of funny. Oh, then we gotta bring it back out again. Yeah. Anyways, the whole Israel thing. Let's see, and then Trump awarded Crown of Jerusalem by Israel Heritage Foundation. I think this was a couple of years ago. I cannot remember exactly when. It might have even been 2020, but it might have been 2021 or 2022. But I mean, I've seen this before. I think they even did the same with Bush and maybe even Clinton, right? Like it's been a while, and I didn't go down I didn't stay on the Jewish path. Like you come across all these different paths when you look into these things, right? I stay away from the ones that are, to me, clearly trying to direct me into like a belief system, like the masonry stuff. Hate on masonry. I was in a club called Dimole as a kid, and that's one of my best memories. Really cool people and stuff. That was fun. But anyways, yeah, I remember like throughout the years, multiple politicians and especially like the presidents, I think only the POTUS would get like the crown of Jerusalem type of thing or whatever. And I don't know, but it's not the first time that happened. And then I guess I'll blow that one up again. No president has done more for Israel than I have. Somewhat surprisingly, however, our wonderful evangelicals are far more appreciative of this than the people of the Jewish faith, especially those living in the U.S. Those living in Israel, though, are a different story. Highest approval rating in the world could easily be PM. U.S. Jews have got to get their act together. It's so funny. No president has done more for Israel than I have. And I think they've all said that, too. Bush, Clinton, and again, I just whatever, because it's been nonsense, but you know, they've all said similar things. We got regular politicians. This is a part of the systemic nonsense and crap that we experience. You know, they're all going to be pro-Israel. You know, and funny thing, kind of funny. I mean, I recognized this as a kid too, and I always thought it was strange, but I just never went and looked into the things. But if you look into this stuff, you'll come across the conversation and the discussion and the history of things of like, the Israel in our world is not the Israel from the Bible. That's what you'll get into, you know, right? Whatever. If you were to get into it, I don't expect you would. It's whatever. That's fine. I'm just saying. Let's see. The Trump cult refuses to accept who he is and was. He didn't lock anyone up. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because he was talking about getting rid of the deep state. He hired the deep state people, hired them, didn't fire them, declared an unconstitutional emergency, gave us warp speed, enabled the entire scam with trillions to blue states, and on and on. But he didn't lock us down. I forgot about this, the lock us down part, which is pretty funny. Because I remembered this as well. I remember Trump saying these things. Talking about how great the lockdown was, and we need to lock it down, and we'll see some in a bit. For the purpose of creating conflict and confusion, some in the fake news media are saying that it is the governor's decision to open up the states, not that of the president of the United States and the federal government. Let it be fully understood that that is incorrect. It is the decision of the president, and for many good reasons. With that being said, the administration and I are working closely with the governors, and this will continue. A decision by me in conjunction with the governors and input from others will be made shortly. Oh, now we're getting into the videos. Okay. Now we're gonna get into little clips, little parts of interviews and whatever. Yeah, so let's just get into these for funsies. Let me check my screen, make sure. Okay, we're fine.
Obviously, you did everything you could to get this vaccine out. I know where you stand on the vaccine.
It was one of the greatest achievements. We did it in less than 9 months.
To be able to do that.
Take care of Joe Biden, because he got his shot. He got his vaccine. He forgot. It shows you how unpainful that vaccine shot is. So everybody go get your shot.
It works incredibly well, 95%, maybe even more than that. It works incredibly well.
Don't forget about the mandates. People have to have their freedom. But at the same time, the vaccine is one of the greatest achievements of mankind.
It's a great vaccine. It's a safe vaccine, and it's something that works.
I recommend you take it, but I also believe in your freedoms 100%.
Anything. I came up with a vaccine, with 3 vaccines. All are very, very good.
People that do get it get better much quicker. That's a very important thing to know.
Came up with 3 of them in less than 9 months. It was supposed to take 5 to 12 years.
But I recommend take the vaccines. I did it. It's good. Take the vaccines. But I happen to take the vaccine.
The vaccines do work, and they are effective.
Some people aren't taking it. The ones that get very sick and go to the hospital are the ones that don't take the vaccine.
It was really bad. And now other countries are using our vaccines, and, tremendous. They're tremendously successful.
Both the president and I are vaxxed, and did you get the...
That was a bit long. I'm kind of sick of that. But and I have something that'll come up in a little bit as well related to that. That's going to be fun and interesting to look at. Okay, let's see what this one is. Oh, I think there's a montage of lockdowns.
Right thing. I thought of keeping it open. And we did just the right thing. We closed it down. And a group of very smart people walk in and say, sir, we have to close it. And we did the right thing. They can't do anything without the approval of the President of the United States. Even the Democrats aren't blaming me for that. We had to close it up. Some people wish we never closed it down. We did the right thing. We closed it. It's a decision for the President of the United States.
We did the right thing. We had to close it up.
Because nobody's ever heard of closing down a country, let alone the United States of America.
We had to turn off the airlines. We had to turn off everything. And we did the right thing.
A lot of people have thought about it. Write it out. Don't do anything. Just write it out and think of it as the flu. But it's not the flu. It's vicious. We basically shut down our country. We did the right thing. We had to close it down. The President of the United States calls the shots. And we had to close it down. We did the right thing. They're not working in offices. They're not in airplanes together.
And we did close up. We had to close it up, and we did the right thing.
We closed it down. We did the right thing.
All right, hope you get the point. Right, whatever. Like, and some of the editing can be bad. Like the previous video I showed, they obviously loop a couple things. That guy, he does that. That's his style. He does a lot of repeat stuff just to, I guess, to ram it in or something, right? Like I don't like it. I'm not a fan of the repeat edit clips, right? Anyways, whatever. Oh, okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, this one's kind of a funny one. Oh, oops. I keep clicking the wrong button. Is that okay?
Totally represented about 100 million people who said they're going to cooperate and decide when to reopen.
Well, they can
those
decide,
states.
but
Does that undermine what you're trying to
no,
do?
not at all. Let me just tell you, very simple. I'm going to put it very simply. The President of the United States has the authority to do what the President has the authority to do, which is very powerful. The President of the United States calls the shots. This is when somebody's the President of the United States, the authority is total. And that's the way it's got to be.
Your authority is total.
It's total. It's total.
Your authority
And the
is
governors
total.
know that.
So if a
The governors know that. Now you have a couple of bands of excuse me. You have a couple.
Could you rescind that order?
You have a couple of bands of Democrat governors, but they will agree to it. They will agree to it. But the authority of the President of the United States having to do with the subject we're talking about is total.
You said when someone is president of the United States, their authority is total. That is not true. Who
Okay,
told
you know
that?
what we're going to do? We're going to write up papers on this. It's not going to be necessary because the governors need us one way or the other, because ultimately it comes with the federal government. That being said, we're getting along very well with the governors, and I feel very certain that there won't be a problem. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Has any governor agreed that you have the authority to?
Okay, whatever. Just funny stuff, man. I'm not. To me, anyway. I like, and again, so a lot of this I didn't used to think was funny, right? There's a different way of looking at things now. Anyways. Oh yeah, so let's see. This is going off of COVID for a little bit here. Let's see what we've got.
Left troops in Syria. You know what I did? I left troops to take the oil. I took the oil. The only troops I have are taking the oil. They're protecting the oil. I took over
We're taking the oil. We're not taking the oil.
Maybe we will. Maybe we won't.
They're protecting the facility.
I don't know. Maybe we should take it. But we have the oil. Right now, the United States has the oil. So they say he left troops in Syria. No, I got rid of all of them other than we're protecting the oil. We have the oil. And then they say he left troops.
I don't know. That is one of my favorites. I've mentioned it like briefly a couple times in some of my videos. I'm like, maybe just it was like maybe a few times. Anyways, but it's our oil. We got the oil. Like I took the oil. It's just funny, man. Like come on, it's just funny. It's funny. It's sad, but it's kind of funny. Because all this is stuff I remember in the '90s. I have never tried remembering Desert Storm, but I could never forget it because it was like 9/11 back then. It was just non-stop. Everybody talked about it. Everybody all day long. It was everywhere you looked. There was the flags, the ribbons everywhere. Same thing. So, and it was all, and even back then it was the oil. It's all about the oil. We're just robbing people of their resources and stuff. Same old story, same stuff. Oh, this is an interesting one. I forgot about this one because I went and never mind. I had all this prepared. I don't normally do all this preparing, but I knew that I would have to because there's just so much. So I came across this one and I was like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. So this is an interesting one. Trump on 9/11/01 and Trump on 9/13/01 are two very different people. Feel free to decide for yourself why that is. Let's check this out.
It's a very, very strong building. Don't forget, that took a big bomb in the basement. Now, the basement is the most vulnerable place because it's your foundation, and it withstood that. And I got to see that area about 3 or 4 days after it took place because one of my structural engineers actually took me for a tour because he did the building. And I said, I can't believe it. The building was standing solid, and half of the columns were blown out. I mean, so this was an unbelievably powerful building. If you know anything about structure, it was one of the first buildings that was built from the outside. The steel, the reason the World Trade Center had such narrow windows is that in between all the windows, you had the steel on the outside. So you had the steel on the outside of the building. That's why when I first looked, and you had big, heavy I-beams, you remember the width of the windows in the World Trade Center, folks. I think you know, if you were ever up there, they were quite narrow. And in between was this heavy steel. I said, how could a plane, even a 767 or 747 or whatever it might have been, how could it possibly go through the steel? I happen to think that they had not only a plane, but they had bombs that exploded almost simultaneously, because I just can't imagine anything being able to go through that wall. Most buildings are built with the steel is on the inside around the elevator shaft. This one was built from the outside, which is the strongest structure you can have.
How is it possible that a Boeing plane would be able to destroy or two planes would be able to destroy the Twin Towers? Because they were constructed to withstand like a 707 attack.
Well, it's tremendous power and tremendous heat. And people were willing to die, and when they're willing to die and when they're willing to become kamikazes of a sense, there's very little you can do about it. I mean, the heat and the power, actually it was amazing that the initial jolts didn't jar the building as much as people would have thought. But the tremendous amounts of fuel that was dumped on the building and 1,600 degrees temperature, I guess that's probably more than anything could take, no matter what.
The Trade Center was open.
Got their narrative cleared up, right? You know? Well, it was just a fun one.
Yeah, great success.
And this gentleman, as you know, he's done a great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
One more question. What?
The Outsider. Oh yeah. Here. I'll go with this one.
Entry exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately. In my administration, we will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system.
And that's in relation to, like, you know, border but just generally tracking, right? Tracking people, which is very strange. I still think it's kind of funny when they talk about the whole tracking thing, because as many people will repeatedly point out, as long as you've got your phone, your cell phone, you are constantly tracked no matter what. Which is, and I don't think that's a scary thing. I don't. I think it's intrusive. I think it's a problem. I think it's not cool. I'm not scared of it, right? Like, but it should bother us. It should bother us that we are just casually, normally being spied on just cause. You know, I've said it before. I've got nothing to hide, so I understand that argument. I don't have anything to hide, so I don't care if they spy on me. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It really. And I didn't used to have this perspective until I, you know, learned a bit more, or whatever. I don't want to call it learning, but yeah, yeah. So I'm not scared of the whole tracking thing. It's just funny because that is real. You know. All right. Here's a fun one. This is a fun one. Donald Trump doesn't think flu shots work. And I thought this was funny because I remember telling people this early on during COVID, even when I was going along with it at first. We never took flu shots. People were making that argument all the time, like, oh, but you'll take your flu shot. Like, no, what are you talking about? We've never taken flu shots. My mom never had us get flu shots. We never did it. That was not a thing for us. So I don't know. Let's check this out.
Donald, do you get the flu shot every year?
No.
Why?
No, I don't know. I've never had one. And thus far, I've never had the flu. I don't like the idea of injecting bad stuff into your body, which is basically what they do. And I guess this one has not been very effective to start off with, but the last one. But I've never had a flu shot, and I've never had the flu. I better knock on wood. Where's some wood around?
How is it that you've never had the flu with all the business you've done over the years? You're always shaking hands. That's how you get sick.
I am shaking hands, and I just don't understand it myself. But I have friends that religiously get the flu shot, and then they get the flu. You know, that helps my thinking because I say, why am I doing this? And then I've seen a lot of reports that the last flu shot is virtually totally ineffective. I've passed on it, but that doesn't mean people should pass.
I know how you can get the flu. You're a healthy guy, and I'll bet when those flu germs show up, you go, you're fired.
Well, I fired them immediately.
Immediately, right? No, the deal is my wife's got the flu, and my 2 kids were sick last week, so I'm just sitting here waiting to get sick.
Well, you're going to be a victim. There's no question.
Thank you. Told you. Thanks a lot.
I wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you.
Donald Trump, always a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
I'm amazed by the fact that you've never had the flu. Keep that streak alive, all right?
I want to keep that. That's bad. I shouldn't have said that. I'll be calling tomorrow saying I'm really...
Jinx or something.
Right.
All right. Let's see what else we got here. Oh yeah, The Outsider. That's right.
Heard that President Bill Clinton and Secretary Hillary Clinton was coming today, and I think it's appropriate to say, and I'd like you to stand up. I'd like you to stand up. You know, I'll tell you, there is something that I wanted to say, because I was very honored, very, very honored, when I heard that President Bill Clinton and Secretary Hillary Clinton was coming today, and I think it's appropriate to say, and I'd like you to stand up. I'd like you to stand up. That plays great before the election. Now we don't care. So I took the name Crooked away from Hillary, and we gave her a new name. Beautiful. I call Beautiful. It's just so beautiful. And you have to live with that name for the rest of your life. I'll go over the different names, but I won't. Because many of them are now friends of mine, okay? Because many of them are now friends of mine, okay? Because many of them are now friends of mine, okay? Because of mine, okay? That plays great before the election. Now we don't care.
That part, that one seems out of context, but I know it's weird. But the reality is that he does say these things. You know, we're buddies, we're friends. You know, lock her up worked, because I'm pretty sure that he did do that. That was the lock her up thing, and then that was just for, you know, the show. Lock her up, lock her up. This one, I'll play it.
I don't even like to mention Biden because he's not controlling anything.
Who do you think is pulling Biden's strings? Is it former Obama
people
officials?
that you've never heard of? People that are in the dark shadows. I don't even like to mention Biden because he's not controlling anything.
Who do you think is pulling?
Yeah. You know, and I watched that. I don't remember how long it was. I watched it like in more context and whatever. I don't remember if I watched the whole interview. I might have. I watched many. I watched like so many. I don't remember which one is which. Like which interview was this? But he never names anybody, and that's the point. He would never name who the bad guys are. I would. I've done it. People don't want to believe it because they're all the leaders and the people in charge, right? You know, whatever. People would rather believe Bill Gates is a good guy, Elon Musk is a good guy, like, you know, whatever, dude. Like, I'll name names. Anyways, that's my point, though. Is you know, he wouldn't. Oh, they're just people in the shadows. Okay, buddy. You know, the guy against the state. Please, come on, man. Oh yeah, this one was a new one. This one just happened a couple days ago. I thought this was funny. I was like, huh? I'm like, what?
With a B. They want to give them 60 billion more. And I said, wait a minute, do it this way. Loan them the money. If they can make it, they pay us back. If they can't make it, they don't have to pay us back. Loan them the money. Put it as a form of a loan. Why should you just hand it over to them? Do it as a form of a loan.
Where's the logic there? There's no logic there, man. That doesn't even make any damn sense. That's so funny. Okay, so this one I saved. Oh, did I close the thing? Shoot, I closed what I had open. Crap. Must have misclicked. This one I just thought was funny. Okay, because one thing that people talk about is like the Trump, you know, they wrestling things been brought up, and I had forgotten about that. I remembered when I was reminded. I was like, oh yeah, he did like WWF stuff. That was funny. He did all kinds of stuff. He was a celebrity, you know, right? I hated him. I always hated him. He's always been an a-hole, you know, whatever, man. People will point out he's a man's man. He can throw a football. He can hit a golf ball. He can hit a tennis ball. I'm just like, okay, like wow. But this one specifically, because people will point out like, what a badass. Look at this tweet. Who else is old enough to remember when Trump slapped Vince McMahon in the face? Now I want to show you something because this is very funny. I'm gonna play the whole clip because it's funny. But I'm gonna point something out to you that I noticed right when it happened. I was like, what? Why? What? So, and it's just funny, okay? It's just funny. Let's check it out. I think it's funny. He gets all pissed at the other guy for blocking him or whatever, like that. Like, it's just so fake. But I don't know if you noticed it. I thought it was very strange that watch. Did you see it? When Trump slaps Vince McMahon, he flinches. Trump flinches as if he's being hit. Like, it's so weird. You see it? He's like, what have I done to hit him? Like, I think because he's not used to that kind of thing, right? Like, I don't know. I think that's funny. It's funny because he's got like a angry face, but he flinches. He flinches. It's just funny to me, man. Yeah, Trump's the man. He slapped Vince McMahon while flinching. Like, okay, I guess, you know, I don't know, whatever, man. Just funny. And then since I don't have the final one here, I had another one here at the end, and I don't remember what it was. Kind of like, damn it, I had one more tab open after this, and I must have, while clicking through things, I must have accidentally got rid of it. But just a reminder that at first, earlier on in 2021, Trump was the one banning TikTok, supposedly banning TikTok, you know, and that was because of China's spying on us through TikTok, which I suppose could be true. Who cares? Our own government spies on everybody, you know, us included, you know, so whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not even, I don't even think of them as separate governments between these countries. Maybe they are. I don't have a reason to believe that. It's possible. I just, whatever, dude. It's all one big system to me, so whatever. But anyways, so that was, I just wanted to bring that up again, remind us here that, you know, back then Biden was the one that supposedly canceled Trump's ban on TikTok, and then now the recent thing a few months ago or whatever was, you know, Biden banning TikTok. So anyways, I wanted to share this specifically because I know that I attack Trumpers. I even did it in my previous video, and I'm not like trying. To me, I can't understand it. And I pointed out, and I'll say I don't have a superiority complex when it comes. It's very frustrating to call things out as being stupid and idiotic and whatever, and say people are stupid while not thinking I'm better than them. I'm not like I'm so much smarter than you. I've mentioned this before, and just here and there and stuff, like there have been times in my life where I've felt deeply stupid, and COVID is the worst one. And I know I was out of my mind, gone before that happened. I was gone, dude. So yeah, I mean, I feel not just guilt and shame, but deeply stupid for that, you know. So when I'm saying that somebody's stupid for believing a certain thing, it's not because I think I'm smarter than them and whatever. And sometimes I'm like, I should. Sometimes I think I should. Sometimes I'm like, because I see the conversations, I see what people are saying, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to think they're that stupid, but holy crap, they are that stupid, okay? It sucks, man, it sucks. But it's like, yeah. So anyways, my point, it's not because I think so highly of myself and because whatever, right? Like it's different. Like they do, the people running this show. Yeah, no, and I can understand why. I can understand them feeling superior. Because all they got to do is lie. That's all they have to do is lie. We are brainwashed. The moment we enter society and go to school, we are brainwashed. What's the first thing you learn in school? The Pledge of Allegiance. I remember. I was so glad, like in 6th grade, I think back, I'm so glad that I had just had a brief discussion with a fellow student at the time that opened my eyes to how ridiculous that Pledge of Allegiance was. And they weren't even talking about the pledge. They just didn't have to say it. And I asked them why. And when they said why, I was like, well, then I guess I'm just not gonna, I don't care. I'm not a part of their thing. We're not the same. But if they don't have to do it, then I'm not gonna do it. And then that I stopped doing it. I stopped doing the Pledge of Allegiance in 6th grade. But whatever. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know how to make it more clear. It's weird that this, because I think the surface stuff should be enough. And it's just too easy to casually throw off, right? Unless you see the darker stuff, I guess. That you gotta get into the money, into the connections, and that kind of a thing. But it's not for me. That's why I might share other people's content or recommend somebody else, because I can't explain it the way that they do. I also don't want to, right? Like, it's just not my thing. Like, I'm more of an emotional person. That's how I speak. That's how I think. It's how I express myself is emotionally, like, right? I could learn to do it other ways. I don't want to. I've thought about it. There's so many times when I've thought about it, because I know that the way that I can be is not can be not great. You know, I know that. Like, I'm very aware. So I've thought about it. I'm like, well, I could try to approach it from this angle or that angle, or, you know, whatever, this kind of thing. I don't want to, though. I'd rather be me. And that's all. It's my choice. It's maybe one day, if depending on how long this continues and how long I keep talking about this crap, I don't want to. I've said it when I first started. Like, I don't want to talk about these things, and especially the main reason is I haven't gone along with that thing. Like, I have to try and make up for it, and I never could. I never ever will ever be able to. I will never be able to make up for that. So, but I can try, you know, do whatever I can, right? Anyways, so I don't know, man. Oh, before I go, I just thought of something. I've thought about this a bunch before, but if you would like to try to have a conversation with me about these things, and a conversation, not a debate to win an argument, a conversation about these topics, let me know, and we can try to set up a date and a time to record a conversation that I can upload later and stuff. So just let me know. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.